Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, wonderful, beautiful ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hector Dominguez. I'm here on behalf of the Cook County Assessor's Office. We have a listen to me, great thing for you today. We have some special guests that are going to be on here with us. We're going to have uh, Assessor Kagi. He's going to come on here. He's going to talk to you guys for a little bit. We also have Commissioner Silvestri coming on to talk to you guys for a little bit. So I don't want to take up any of the time that we have. I know you guys are eating your lunch right now. You guys are spending time with us. You could literally be doing anything else, but you're here with us. So thank you very much. But what I want to do right now is I want to bring in the commissioner so he can say a few words. Look at the power of technology. Boom. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Hector. How are you?
I am well and energized.
Thanks to the assessor and all of you on his staff who are out here in Maine Township today, for the tax appeal seminar. It's a very important thing for our taxpayers to have the fairest tax possible. Nobody likes taxes, but we want to make sure that they're fairly administered. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Fritz, wherever you are, and your staff for coming out here to Maine Township. We appreciate it, and we hope that everybody in Maine Township gets a tax reduction.
Yes.
Thank you, Hector.
No problem at all. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start. Go ahead and hang out in the background. We're going to be doing Q&A in a little bit too, so maybe you want to jump in on that if you want to or not. No pressure. But before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, a couple housekeeping rules. Rule number 1. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comment section. I don't know if you're like me, but my brain is, I have ADHD, don't tell nobody. So my brain is always going crazy. So if I don't ask my question right away, it literally disappears from my brain. Unfortunately, we don't have this set up that way. So please go ahead and write those in the comment section. Our team, the communications department, is in there right now answering questions also. I want to give a big shout out to Jennifer. She's in the background holding it down. She's running the show for us here, ladies and gentlemen. I see we got a couple viewers. We got a couple likes. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start. So please let me add my presentation. And let's get it in, ladies and gentlemen. So what are we doing here today? We're going to be talking about Maine Township. So before we do anything, the responsibilities of the assessor's office. Guys, there are almost 2 million different properties in Cook County. We have the responsibility of putting a value to these properties, right? 1.9 million, almost 2 million. You know, we're rounding up in here. We did that in 3rd grade. So the values of these properties are not, we're not bored. We don't make them up. They're not based individually. We do what's called a mass appraisal system, right? Another thing our office does is we make sure you get your discounts, right? You look at your tax bill. I'm going to show you one of those in a second. You look at your tax bill, and on the bottom left-hand corner, those are where your discounts are listed. We help you do those, and we also help you with your appeals, which is what we're going to be talking about today as well. Here's what we don't do. We don't issue the tax bills. We don't issue tax rates or tax levies. That's the township you live in. We don't issue the state's equalizer. That's the Department of Revenue, right? All we are responsible for is the value of your home, the discounts on your bill, and allowing you to go ahead and appeal. But I just got some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. That we have Assessor Fritz Kagi in here. So let's go ahead and bring him in.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Hector. Thanks for everyone joining us here today. I know it's a very busy time of year with the high holidays, with kids back in school, work. If we're all out there working in the workplace, that's busy this time of year too. So thank you for being here. Hector has a lot of really useful information for you on how to navigate this system, on how to appeal, how to make sure you're getting all your exemptions, how to make sure that we got your valuation right. This is the time of year to take a close look at that assessment notice that we sent you to make sure that it's accurate. I'm going to give you a couple of pieces of high-level information here, and then Hector's going to give you all the different ways that you can navigate it. We want to give this to you just so that we can make sure that you understand the system better. He told you a few things about what our responsibility is for the assessor's office, which is to estimate the value of every single property in Cook County. And how we do that is consequential for you, not only for how we value your property, but the rate that you will end up paying later on depends on how other people are assessed. So it's really important to know this greater context for what's happening with assessments, not only with your own home, but also overall in your community. Not only to make sure that you're being treated fairly, but also to understand what it means for the bill that the treasurer will send you later. Okay, so we have a couple slides that I just wanted to give you a little bit of information with. I think we'll go to the next one. This is, first of all, what we want you to see in terms of the trend for housing in Maine Township and communities like yours and your community and your neighboring communities. You can see here that there is a upward trend in transaction values for single-family homes and for other kinds of residential architecture. And I'd say that this trend that we're seeing is what we've seen in a lot of the north suburbs this year as we've done the reassessment. So Maine is sort of following the trend that we saw elsewhere. You can see that the single-family home is about $340,000. That's the average median assessor's estimated value, and that's a little bit lower than the most recent transaction price that we saw of $370,000, which is up, decently, up about 20% from where it was 3 years ago in 2017. You can also see the trend. It's maybe a little bit more moderated for condos, not up quite as much as single family. And then multifamily has been pretty strong. People are like, people like to buy 2 to 6 flats where rents are up significantly, make it an attractive investment for people. And we're seeing strong trends there. You can see the median multifamily home in Maine Township is $560,000. Okay. So that's sort of the bigger picture. Maine following a lot of the strong residential trends we've seen elsewhere in the north suburbs. We can go to the next slide. Oh, so here, let's see. So we have the slide here for could we go to the next slide, Hector?
So we have the triennial slide, we have the Maine valuation report, and then we have the Maine neighborhood code report.
Okay, great. So this is the time where, so I've given you sort of the bigger picture for what's been happening in Maine Township. Now Hector is going to give you all the information that you need to go further to help you make sure you're getting all your exemptions and your appeals. So thanks everyone for being here. And I'm going to give you the guy who does this every day, and he'll take it from here.
Thank you so much, boss. Thank you so much for your time. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the assessor. I know we can't in real life, but
right.
Thank you for being here with us today, boss. But like the assessor said, anyone who has access to a computer or a phone or some type of internet can get all this information. We just made our entire system just different, just transparent, brand new, more user-friendly as well. So you can literally go to cookcountyassessor.com, and from there you can go to the valuation reports, and you can actually click on these different individual neighborhoods. I'm going to make one up right now as an example, but you can go to neighborhood 10 if that was yours and see if your values line up with what our office has assessed your property for. It's a great way for you to actually see if you should be filing an appeal or not. The rule of thumb is if your property is within 10% up or down of where our office says your property should be, then you probably don't want to appeal because you are already where the market says properties like yours are. But we're going to talk about that more in a little bit. Here's what you would call a reassessment notice. You all should have received something like this. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. This is actually some vital information for your everyday life. Only 90s kids are going to get that reference. But here's where you can get your PIN number, your fair market value, your neighborhood code, property characteristics, your assessed value. All of that information is here, and you're going to need that information for when you file your appeal. Earlier, we talked about a tax bill. Now, you get 2 tax bills a year. You get a blue one when it's cold outside. That's the first installment. That one doesn't have any exemptions on it, and it's 55% of the previous year's total tax bill. Now, usually when I say this, everyone goes, so that means the second installment is 45%. Unfortunately, that is not correct. These two bills are separate and unique from each other. They have nothing to do with each other. They do not equal 100. The first one is blue. It's typically sent out when it's cold outside, around February-ish, and it doesn't have any discounts on it. The yellow one is when it's warm outside. Give me a second. I'm going to try to fix this. It seems like, all right, so we got it back. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. But as I was saying, we are here on, so I'm sorry, boss. So that means when I was on the valuation data slides, it was stuck on something else, and that's why you couldn't see it. I apologize. I didn't know that was happening, but let's get it in. So the second installment tax bill has your discounts on it, typically mailed out when it's warm outside. Those should be hitting the mail soon, according to everything that the county is telling us. And these will have your discounts on it. Bottom left-hand corner under tax calculator. So why should someone, or why would someone, I should say, be appealing? Well, legally, I can't tell you how you should appeal, right? It's against the law. But I can tell you why most taxpayers choose to do this. So the first one is lack of uniformity. That means myself, myself and Assessor Kagi live on the same block, house built by the same person, same size, same color, whatever. But for whatever reason, my value is greater than his, which probably means my bill is greater than his, and I want to know why we are not uniform. Most taxpayers choose lack of uniformity. The next one is overvaluation. That's probably everybody watching this right now, right? There's no way my house is worth this much. If my house was worth this much, I would give you the keys right now. I understand. And then the third most common is incorrect property description, also known as property description error, where that means there's a factual error, right? That means we say you have a condo, but you really have a single family home. Or we say you have a building with 6 apartments or less, but you really have a townhome, right? There's a factual error. Those are the 3 main reasons why people would appeal. Sorry. Here are some property characteristics. You can get this information from our website, cookcountyassessor.com. I'm sure somebody from the outreach team is in the comments right now putting this information in. But to do this, you can go to cookcountyassessor.com/address-search, or just go ahead and put in your PIN number or your address right on our homepage, and you will get all this information. If your assessment is close to your median value, we already talked about this, guys. If it's close enough, within 10% of what our office says your property should be worth, again, you can appeal. There is no rule against it. I just probably wouldn't. But again, you're able to do whatever you need to do. So what is the actual appeal process? Very simple. You get a reassessment notice. You look at it and say, hey, this is fair. I agree. No problem. You have nothing to do. But if you're looking at your reassessment notice and going, hey, I don't agree with this. This is incorrect. Then you would go ahead and file an appeal. When you file an appeal, you have to give us a reason why you're filing the appeal. I know that there's this thing where people think they can just appeal because they can, which is true, but you're going to need a reason. We're going to go over those reasons in a second. After you file your appeal, an analyst will review the evidence and say, hey, you know what, you're right. We're going to lower your value, or sorry, we're not going to lower your value. Any decision that you get, any decrease or any where you're going to get like a decision letter from our office or anything that's a decrease or a no change, you're going to know that as well. So that is kind of the process. And if you're on the internet right now and you're watching this, you can pause it, you can look at this, or you can write it down, or you can just chill. Now, how do you file an appeal? We've made this so easy. Shout out to Assessor Kagi and the rest of his team. They went in and they said, you know what, the website's kind of vintage, and we want to bring it up to date. So cookcountyassessor.com/online-appeals. And from here, you can start your appeal, edit your appeal, revise it, save it, submit it, all of that information. You can also submit all your additional documentation as well. So any comparable data, any pictures, sales analysis, appraisals, anything you want can be submitted here as well. I'm going to show you how to do that. This is free with our office. You're probably getting letters from tax attorneys who say they can do it for 33 1/3% for the next 3 years. Whatever, that's fine. But we can do it for free, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. We also just want to remind you that Maine Township, your deadline to appeal is October 7th. So that's literally tomorrow. Holy moly. So tomorrow. So guys, please take advantage of this. You don't want to be trying to do this at the last minute and then you accidentally wait too long and now you can't appeal at all. So file an appeal, you go to cookcountyassessor.com, click on the appeals tab and file an online appeal. Super simple. From here, you're going to choose which kind of appeal you want to do or you want to submit. We have multiple, but for the most part, you're going to pick residential. Unless you have a condo, then you would click condo co-op. And if you have a commercial property, you would click on commercial. For what we're talking about, we're going to stick to residential. So here you would need a valid email address. So mine is happytaxpayer@gmail.com. Go ahead and put in a password, click login, and guys, it's that easy. Now you're in. You will scroll all the way to the bottom and find residential assessment appeal. Now, again, we're doing residential right now. If you were condo, you would just go and find a condo co-op assessment appeal. And if you're commercial, you would find a commercial assessment appeal. But for what we are talking about, we're going to do residential assessment appeal. Here, you would click on begin filing and go ahead and put in your PIN number. Once you put in your PIN number, you will get an auto-populated area at the bottom. Make sure it's correct, obviously. And from there, go ahead and click Start Filing. Once you click Start Filing, you will have to check these 2 boxes. You can ignore that Norwood Park warning. That was just for an event I did in Norwood Park, so that's what the screenshot is. But from there, you just click the 2 boxes and then click Next. And now we're in like Flynn. So here, you will go ahead. This will auto-populate for you. It'll give you your information, your PIN number, your street, your city, your zip code, your class. Go ahead and make sure it's correct. Click Next. Then here's where it starts to get spicy. So if you are solely filing an appeal, then you can completely ignore this, this section. You don't have to do anything. Just click Next. However, if there is a factual error, like there was a fire or the square footage is incorrect, or we've been assessing you for a condo, but you really have a single family home, or we've been assessing you as a building, but you really have a single family home, like something like that, there's a factual error, you would want to click the years those errors were occurring. As of right now, we can go to 2018. So you would just click the year and then click Next. Here, we just want to make sure this property is what we say it, or what you say it is, I should say. So if you have a prorated property, this is where you would put in your PIN number. What the heck does that mean? Prorated property means instead of getting 2 tax bills a year, you get 4 tax bills a year, or you get 6 tax bills a year, right? That means your property has multiple PIN numbers for the same property. How do you know? You would know. Very simple. If you're questioning, I don't know if that's me or not, the answer is probably no, you don't have that. So you can ignore this as well. Now we just need to know who you are. Anytime you see a star, a red star near something, go ahead and click it. Go ahead and click the correct answer. So for what we're doing, you are the taxpayer owner. And then for the bottom portion, you're a taxpayer owner again. And then we just need to fill in this information. So we need your phone number. We need the address of the property. We need a valid email address. We need this information. Then you would click, once you fill that in, it would auto-populate again. You would click select. And then click the word next. Super, super simple, guys. Now, property characteristics. So earlier we talked about the 3 reasons why someone might appeal. One of them would be property description error. Here's where that plays. This will auto-populate for you also. If you scroll through it and you don't see anything alarming, ignore it. Just click next. However, if you're looking at this and going, hey, you know what? My property is not 98 years old. It's actually 10 years old. You want to change that. Or if you're going, hey, my property is not 1 story, it's actually a 2-story, then you want to change that. So I would only make corrections on this if I know for a fact corrections need to be made. Otherwise, you can just go to next. We also need to know the market value, right? So if you're sitting here saying, I'm going to file an appeal because my property is overvalued or it's not uniform to everybody else's, what do you think your property should be assessed at? Only you know, right? Especially if you just bought your property. Let us know what you think your property should be assessed at. And then underneath there, we need to know the reasons why you're appealing. So the first one, lack of uniformity. We talked about that already. Overvaluation, we talked about that. Vacancy occupancy, that means you have an empty property. Now, this doesn't mean you have an empty property that you haven't tried to rent, that you haven't tried to sell, right? Or you just don't want anybody living in it. No. If you click vacancy occupancy, you're going to have to provide proof that you tried to rent it or sell it. Next is fire damage, self-explanatory. Next is property description error, where we talked about that. Next is building is uninhabitable. This means you physically cannot live there. The other one is building no longer exists, self-explanatory. So go ahead and click these reasons and let us know why. Underneath there, we also need to know why this is happening, right? So for this example, I chose overvaluation. In my explanation, I put too high. When we get to the part where you can upload documentation, I'm going to show you how to upload your additional documentation. So an appraisal, sales analysis, anything like that, you can submit to make your argument stronger. Underneath there, we need to know what kind of property do you have. Is it a single family home? Is it a building with 6 apartments or less? Is it a mixed use? That means you have like a restaurant on the first floor or like a corner store and you live on the second floor, something like that. Do you have a townhome or duplex? After you answer these questions, go ahead and click next. And now is the juicy part, right? So a lot of people want to submit comparable properties. This is literally the best way to do it, right? So remember earlier when we talked about your reassessment notice and I said, hey, this is not a bill, but this has a lot of information you're going to need. This is where you plug that information in. So you click on these arrows and you just click on the correct field, right? So if you have I'm just making this up, a property class of 212, you want to make sure you click that. If you have a township of Maine, you want to make sure you click that. If your construction type is, I don't know, masonry, you want to click that. Your neighborhood code is, right? You want to fill in as many fields as possible. Once you do this, lots of comparables are going to show up. After they show up, you just have to go through them and pick the ones you want. Alternatively, at the bottom of this where it says custom additional search criteria right here, you can put a very specific property you want our office to look at, right? So the top portion, you'll get a plethora of comparables. The bottom portion is where you give us a specific one you want us to look at. Once you do this, the comparable will show up. You will click next, and you will just make sure that this is exactly what you're looking for, right? This is the one you want. If it is correct, you click next. If it's not, you go to previous and do it again until you get the right one. Now, this is where you would submit additional documentation. Here, you would submit pictures, appraisals, sales analysis, comparable properties, appeal narratives, whatever you have that you want to submit to make your argument stronger, this is exactly where you would submit it. Now, we're at the very last step. We need your name, your phone number, and your address, and click the word submit. Up until right now, ladies and gentlemen, your filing is not submitted. You can edit it, you can save it, you can revise, whatever you want. The moment you click submit and this giant submit filing warning comes up and you click yes, congratulations, your appeal has been filed. How do you know? Because it says confirmation. This is your confirmation page. It has your filing ID. This is what you would need for your records. You would get this email to you within a time limit as well. What you will not receive via email is a decision letter. A decision letter is going to be sent by snail mail to you. It's going to be mailed to you. That's the results, right? The decision letter / the results, those will be sent to you by mail. Now we're going to talk about exemptions. We're going to go over this very quickly because I know you guys are on your lunch breaks. So the homeowner exemption, veterans with disability exemptions, persons with disability exemption, home improvement exemption, senior citizen exemption, returning veterans exemption, senior freeze exemption, and the longtime occupant exemption. All of these are listed on our website. You can check out, each has a very good description of what each exemption does. Most people are going to receive the homeowner. If you're a senior, you're going to get the senior or the senior freeze. If you have some type of disability, you would either get the disabled or the disabled person or the veterans with disability exemption. If you lived in your property for 10 consecutive years and some other requirements, you might get the long time. We're going to go ahead and drop the links to those in the comment section. Here is where you can check your property history. So you can go to our website, cookcountyassessor.com. You can check your exemption history, your appeal history, your assessment history. You can read all the other assessments. You can kind of dive into the data information of our website. Those two graphs that we showed you at the very beginning. We're on slide 40. So these slides right here, I hope I'm on it. Yes. So this slide and this slide will be available there as well. So let me talk about this slide very quickly because I don't think it came up earlier. But as the assessor was talking about the different valuations and how what the trend has been, right? Well, here you can actually go in, you can find your specific neighborhood code, you can click on your neighborhood code, and you can see the values in your specific area as well to see where you, I guess, measure up to the other people in your area. What happens if you're missing an exemption, ladies and gentlemen? We get this question every day. When I'm not doing these presentations, I'm actually helping taxpayers get back hundreds and thousands with an S of dollars because for whatever reason, they didn't file an exemption or they forgot to, or it got lost in the mail or their dog ate it, whatever. It doesn't matter. The deadline for applying for the 2021 exemptions was August 26th. So unfortunately, we're past the deadline. But what happens if you missed? We have something called a certificate of error. Now, I know that sounds familiar. We just talked about that for appeals. Certificate of errors for appeals are a totally different thing than certificate of errors for exemptions, right? So C of E's for exemptions means, hey, guys, I didn't get my homeowner exemption last year. Can you help me get it? Of course we can. And as of right now, as of October 6th, 12:27 p.m., we can go back to 2018, 2019, and 2020, right? So we can go back up to 3 years. And let's say you forgot to do this year as well. We can do the current year also. So we can do up to 4, guys. All certificate of errors are due by December of 2022. We don't have an official date yet, but we do know you have 2 months. So, or a month and a half, 2 months. So please, guys, if you are trying to figure this out, maybe you don't know if you're missing exemptions, or maybe you kind of think you do, I don't know, maybe you're not sure, just contact us directly. How do you do that? Bam, right here, right? You can call us at 312-443-7550. You can contact us on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You can leave some comments on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, right? We also have this cool, let's see if this works. We have this, it's going to work. I mean, let's see if I can show it to you. Let's look at this cool QR code that we have. So if you hover over if you have an iPhone, you pull it out, you hover over this QR code with your phone, this is what you'll get. Our Linktree account. Not sure if you can see it, probably not, but you get the idea. If you have an Android phone or a Google phone, you have to download a QR code reader, and then you can do this. But from here, you can go to our website, you can make an appointment, you can view neighborhood values, you can make an appeal, exemptions, download our brochures. You can do all kind of crazy things on our Linktree account. We try to make this as easy as possible for you guys. You can also make an appointment with us in person. So you can go to our downtown location, 118 North Clark. You can go to our Markham Courthouse location, 16501 South Kedzie. You can go to our Skokie Courthouse location, 5600 West Orchard View, sorry, it's my address. Old Orchard Road. You can go there as well. You can sign up for emails, updates, guys. The number one complaint we get is, I didn't know about this, or why wasn't I made aware of this, or how come nobody told us about this? This is how you stay informed. This is how you stay just in tune with our office so that we can make sure you have all the information and all the different tools handy at your hands, right? Now, let's go to my favorite part of the day, the Q&A portions. Let me go ahead and remove my screen. All right, let's go ahead and answer some of these questions. Oh, we have 12. Let's go. Oh, what happened? What did I do? All right. So let's start with this one. David says, I have an issue with my property taxes on square footage. Hi, David. This is a very vague question, but I'm going to assume a couple things. I'm going to assume that when you say you have an issue with your square footage, you mean the square footage is incorrect, right? So if you're saying the square footage is incorrect, then we can help you with that. By filing an appeal, you can go ahead and choose the property description error reason, And then you can submit a plat of survey or an appraisal or anything that you have, blueprints, whatever you have, showing the corrected square footage. Once you submit that, our analyst will then go ahead and check that out, and then they will make a decision based on the evidence. So hope that helps you out, David. Assessor Kagi, do you want to jump in on some of these questions with us? You can just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah, everybody. I'm happy to help and stand by if there's anything you need me. Hector, you are you're the expert here. You do this every day. You're wonderful with this. But if I can help, I'm here.
Yes, sir. I just felt bad. I had no idea that the presentation was not moving with me. So when you're saying next slide, I'm like, I am on the next slide. What's happening? I didn't know that it was frozen. I'm so sorry. So,
Okay.
But yeah, no problem. So if I do need your help, I'll bring you back in. Is that cool? Let's do it. Awesome. So Patricia Armstrong says, are appeals open? So I'm assuming, Patricia, you're talking about Maine Township. Maine Township is in fact open right now, but it closes tomorrow. So you have literally today to file your appeal. So go ahead and get that done. And this is where you would do it. Assessments and appeal calendar. This tells you all the deadlines for all of the townships in Cook County. I see we have Stella Black in the comments. How you doing, Miss Stella? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Oh, shout out to Miss Michelle. She's in the comment section answering these questions. Let's go, Miss Michelle. I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad that you made it home. Shout out to my boss, Kelvin Harris. He's in here dropping some knowledge as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Here's a question. I have a question. You're a potential home buyer. Most of the property that I see are either abandoned or vacant. What would be the process to get one of those? Or am I asking the wrong person? Asking yesterday, no response. Really curious. All right. So, Leandrew, it sounds like you're asking, how do you buy up vacant or abandoned property? Very simple. All you have to do is contact the owner of that property. Well, how do you find out who the owner is? Easy peasy. Multiple ways to do this. I'm going to give you two very fast ones. You can contact our office, get the PIN number from our office. Once you have the PIN number, you can contact the Cook County clerk's office, give them the PIN number. They can give you the owner of, assuming there is an owner, the owner of that property. Boom, you make a phone call, you contact them directly and take care of it. Or you can go up to these properties and sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes there'll be something there that says, for contact property manager, contact us directly, contact this. And there is information provided, usually a phone number or an email address of some sort. You can do it that way as well. But unfortunately, you cannot buy property directly from our office. I wish you could, though, but you cannot. Hope that answers your question. Shout out to Ms. Gail. I see you in the comments. All right. It seems like we have answered all of these questions. It seems like you guys are ready to file your appeals. Go ahead and let us know in the comments if this was education or not. Was this worth your lunch break, right? Was this worth us doing? I believe it is. I believe education is important. I think a lot of people perish at a lack of knowledge. So I want to make sure we know everything up front that we can know so we can make better informed decisions. But we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Please subscribe to our Facebook. That's weird. Please subscribe to our YouTube. Please like our Facebook. Please like our Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Please stay connected with us, guys. We love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Please stay wise. Please stay safe. Please stay blessed. And above all else, just take care of your time, guys. Take care of each other. Be good neighbors. Please tell your neighbors about this. Please help the people around you that might not be computer savvy or may not have a Facebook or may not have a way to see these things. Please just be a good neighbor. Let's help each other out. Love you guys, and you guys have a great day.